Hello, friends. Beside the incomparable Nate Burleson, back in his home and native land for 15 minutes of football fury, we are calling Football Nation.
Ooh.
Football Nate.
I see what you did there. That's a bar.
That's a bar right there. Hold on. For the Canadian homies, Nate Burleson is wearing is that like a loony necklace?
This is a Canadian coin, 1 ounce gold, hardly home, but always repping. You know what I mean? This is actually one of the first pieces I got when I got some NFL money. You know, I just want everybody to know my roots.
Yes.
You know, whether it's a tattoo or it's my chain.
And that's why we love having you on the show, because we know that you rep for the home and native land, even though you're Mr. Worldwide these days.
Like Pitbull.
Pitbull, I heard.
No doubt.
You're hanging out with Pitbull.
No, I appreciate you, man. I don't oftentimes get to see you in person. I know I've said this on camera, but I just want to say you're one of the best in the business, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Not just in the professional sense because we work together, but also as a friend, man. It's great to be here.
I love when you lie to me, because I know that you are the most talented broad. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I know it. People see it out there. All right. I'm not sure anyone has been talked about more than Aaron Rodgers and the New York Football Jets. I saw this movie when it was called Brett Favre.
I know.
What do you think this movie, Brett Favre 2 Electric Boogaloo, how do you think this thing plays out?
Fire movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Look out. It's crazy.
Look out,
no, but you're right, though. We have seen this movie before. What do we say all the time? The more things change, the more they remain the same. This is just history repeating itself. I'll share a quick story. I did an interview at the Jets facility a couple of weeks ago. I was focusing on the evolution of nutrition. So I was able to talk with Quinnen and his brother Quincy, Randall Cobb, and Mecole Hardman. Randall Cobb, of course, spoke highly of Aaron Rodgers, right? He's been knowing him forever. But the most interesting conversation I had was with Mecole Hardman, because I was asking him about the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Mecole Hardman, in his young wide receiver career, went to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. So I wanted to know what it was like going from a soon-to-be Hall of Famer in Patrick Mahomes and a guy we know for sure is going to be a Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers. He said something so fascinating. He said, Patrick Mahomes can drop back like a traditional quarterback. Don't get me wrong, he can do that. But sometimes he'll get in the huddle and he'll say, hey, listen, I don't know what they're going to do. They might mix up the blitz. If I see it coming, I'm going to spin out. I'm going to get to my point. If I don't have the ball in your hands, keep running. Eventually, I will get the ball to you. And he was basically saying, traditional quarterback play, he has that, but he can do playground football, and it's unparalleled. He is the best at that, ad-libbing in the pocket. And then he went to Aaron Rodgers, and he said Aaron Rodgers will get in the huddle and say, hey, listen, I'm going to need you to come out that break at 5 yards. You take 3 steps. By the time your head turns, that ball is going to be in the middle of your chest. If you are where you need to be, we're going to move the ball down the field. We're going to do that 4 or 5 times, and we're going to score a touchdown. You got me? Cool. And they would do that at practice. And he said he never has seen a quarterback play with such timing. And the reason that stuck out to me is because the Jets, they need to be streamlined. Like, they have had some success on defense, but the offense was just so erratic. So they needed somebody to come in and tighten everything up, play with a certain, execution. So Mecole Hardman pointing out the difference between the two, not that one is better than the other. Yes. So I think with Aaron Rodgers being on the Jets, it changes the perspective. This isn't some team that you shake the dice on. Now all of a sudden you have a quarterback that is going to make this offense consistent as hell, play on time, put points up, and a defense that can hold squads under 21, 17, even 14 points. I think this is going to end a lot different than the original version of this movie, when Brett Favre was moving around and every few games we'll see a highlight package and it'll remind us of the old nostalgic Brett Favre. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play consistent. I don't believe he's going to put up crazy numbers, though. You know, people are asking, should I go with Aaron Rodgers in fantasy? I don't think at this age he needs to throw the ball 40 times. I think if Aaron Rodgers knows that the Jets defense can hold offense
they can.
To 14 or 10, they did. I think he'll say, all right, well then we'll have a balanced game. I'll throw the ball for 200 yards, score a couple touchdowns, and I won't turn it over. That's going to be the key to success for the Jets.
Expectations are heavy. Pops told me that a long time ago. I'm looking at this 6 before the bye. Home to the Bills, at the Cowboys. Home to the Patriots, home to the Chiefs, at the Broncos, home to the Eagles. You know the history of Aaron Rodgers, especially over the last little while. You live in that market. If they go into that bye 2-4, folks have accused him of being thin-skinned before. Do you think that little, like, this has been a honeymoon, hard knocks, it's been fun, he's looked like the hero. If it's 3-3 or 2-4, is he ready for the storm that will be that market?
That's such a great question. I don't think it's cover 3. I don't think it's cover 2. I don't think it's a man package with the blitz coverage. I think the toughest coverage he's going to have to face is the New York media, that coverage. And I said that before he took the field as a Jet, when they were circulating these rumors. If things go south, I think Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to have difficulty dealing with the media because he walks around to his own rhythm. He could care less what you think about him, but I think the way that he interacts with the media will cause now the people in New York and New Jersey to look at Aaron Rodgers different, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't care what people think. I truly do believe that, and that's what makes him great. I do believe that.
But like,
I think New York media can turn a fan base on you.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
no other.
Right.
Listen,
that
if a couple of
important.
reporters
I love it too.
in Appleton or Wisconsin wrote bad about him,
Right.
those fans are so loyal.
LAX.
They would run the reporter out.
Right.
But in New York,
right,
if the media turns against you, I think fans are going to start whispering,
right,
and that eventually will cause a little bit of like division in the locker room,
right?
Because now all of a sudden the team is answering questions about this new guy who's acting like a little bit of a jerk or a recluse.
Be interesting to watch also. So is Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, is that like the new Brady Belichick who has the better life after the breakup?
It is. It actually is. Now we're paying attention to seeing who's who.
Right.
I mean, who's going to step up and show that, you know, I was it. The same thing happened with McCarthy. You remember when McCarthy left? And we're like, all right, here we go.
Right.
All right, he's showing up in Dallas. Got the talent, right? Loaded roster. Was it McCarthy or was it Rodgers? And I think as of right now, and this is no shot to McCarthy or the Dallas Cowboys, we've seen Aaron have some success after that breakup.
Right.
Haven't necessarily seen McCarthy take whatever he was doing in
take it to the next level.
Green Bay and take it to the next level.
Yeah, they haven't been there. All right, so I got a stat.
What do you got?
And it all kicks off with the defending champs taking on the Lions.
Okay.
And since the 1998 Super Bowl, which was played in '99, I don't know why we do that, but we do.
Right, I know what you're saying.
42%, 20 of 48 teams to play in the Super Bowl the previous year missed the playoffs the next year. We never see it coming because who are the favorites this year in the NFL? It's the Eagles, it's the Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs, yeah.
Now, history would tell us that one of them drops off. 42% missed, not don't go back to the Super Bowl, missed the playoffs. They seem like the cream of the crop. Do you see either one of these two teams falling off the ship?
No, I don't. But you're so spot on. We don't see it coming.
No, you never see it
It's like we wake up in December, you're like, what? The Eagles are terrible this year?
What happened to the Rams?
Fell off.
Right.
Fell off completely. Right. But it does seem a little bit different for the simple fact that you have Andy Reid, Hall of Fame coach, and then you still have Patrick Mahomes along with Travis Kelce. And then that defense, regardless if they bend and don't break, they're just not going to be that bad where they're giving up too many games. Now, the Eagles, that's the one that concerns me because the Super Bowl hangover doesn't just apply to the team that won because they're shooting commercials and visiting the White House.
Right.
The Super Bowl hangover is also that team, the Eagles, that got everything and gave everything and got to the mountaintop and fell just short, and that is more exhausting than winning it. I just feel like Jalen Hurts is a different type of dude, man.
Right.
Like, there's nothing about him that says complacency. Every time I see that guy, I'm like, damn, I just wish I was playing for him.
Right.
Because even when you try to praise him or tell him he's great or give him all of these things in the world, in the offseason he was concerned about one thing, getting a deal done, and it wasn't even pressing him. And then getting his team better. Yeah. It reminded me, I was watching Swamp Kings.
He's a football dude.
Yeah. He's a football dude. I was watching the Swamp Kings on Netflix, the old the University of Florida, Tim Tebow.
How do you have time
era.
to watch?
I know. I was at home and I was sipping on something. I was like, let me see what this is all about. One moment stood out. When they lost the game early in the season, they were favored to be national champions. And Tim Tebow comes out and people said he's a little bit of a hand for the camera. I thought this moment it touched me so much. He's like sitting there and he's getting kind of choked up and he's saying, well, you will never see a quarterback work as hard as me. You will never see a quarterback push his team as hard as I will. I promise we will be better. And some people thought it was corny. I thought it was beautiful, and it reminded me of Jalen Hurts. Not any other quarterback in the league, I don't think would come out and be that certain that they can take a moment and turn it into something positive. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take that loss and make his team better for it.
How many dudes, you played in the league for a long time, for those who don't remember or don't know, how many dudes do you, because he's improved every year of his career. And like when you make those steps, people don't realize, I don't think, watching at home, how hard they are. How hard is it to make those steps and get better every year?
That's tough, isn't it? I mean, look at some.
I never played. What do I know?
Well, you know the game, but isn't it something that stands out because we see quarterbacks, and I'll throw a couple of names out there.
Okay.
And this isn't a shot at them. This is just kind of like these are guys that maybe something have plateaued.
Right.
Garoppolo, good quarterback.
Yeah.
Will get you to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Will have good regular seasons.
Right.
But he hasn't had that moment that proves that, hey, I'll put the team on my back and win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Even though he made it. Don't get me wrong. Derek Carr,
Yeah.
really good quarterback.
Yeah.
Regular season good. And even at moments, he will be as good of a passer as anybody in the league. But he hasn't had that moment where he proves I can take my team to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Jalen Hurts, every year, there hasn't been like incremental growth. Leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Not saying he wasn't good initially, but he went from very athletic, good passer,
Right.
to a spot-on deep passer,
Yeah.
to now showing the athleticism and using it as a runner. And then in games where they're not throwing the ball well, I'll just be the best running back on the field. So I just think that if he is trending that way moving forward, I mean, who's to say he won't be the best quarterback or an MVP candidate a year from now? Because he was scratching the surface of that conversation last year.
Yeah. I hate predictions because I think it puts people in tough positions where you end up seeing 2 injuries on the offensive line.
Changes everything.
Yeah, and it changes everything. And people are like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That said, I'm already on the Jalen Hurts for MVP, or at least being in the conversation all year long. And you know, we've had these conversations before.
Yeah.
I was talking about Mahomes being all-time
a long time ago.
GOAT trajectory.
Yeah.
I was talking about Travis Kelce being among the greatest.
You go
tight end.
bold. When you go bold early.
And I don't do it.
And I appreciate that.
And I like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, even though I hate predictions.
And you're saying Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, of course, I think we're both on the same page. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs, but you're saying MVP conversation.
And I'm
listen,
talking Super Bowl. If they stay healthy, this might be the most talented, top to bottom starters. I don't know, that depth in the NFL is very hard to look at these days, but top to bottom starters might be among the most talented teams they've ever had.
But I also believe this will be the most competitive field for MVP that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Of course, Patrick Mahomes at the top of that list.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You don't think that dude is about to come back with his butt on fire, proving that he can close out a season well and not make those really erratic mistakes? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I'm big on the Ravens
Joe
offense.
Burrow in the same division.
Every year.
Jalen Hurts every year. So I'm looking at some of these guys that might come back, and I'm talking about 5 or 6 quarterbacks that we'll be talking about well into November, December as MVPs.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts separates himself and has that type of season, that's a dominant run during the regular season. They might have another run to a Super Bowl.
Just worried about Burrow's health, but that's a story for another day. I'm going to do the last
right.
one where I open it up to Nate Dogg because I love talking football with you. And who is the team and or player that hasn't had, like, we are wall-to-wall, NFL Network, 24 hours of football. Turn on whatever network you want. We get bombarded with information.
Of course.
Is there one player, one team that you think isn't getting enough talk, enough chatter, enough ink spilt on them going into this year?
Yes. And, you know how you go to one of those large grocery stores. I don't want to say a specific one because they're not paying us.
Yeah, if they pay us, we'll
exactly.
add them in,
And there's that lady with the fishnet, and she has the samples, and you're a little hungry because you've been out all day with the kids, and you're like, I'll take that. And you're like, you do a lap, and you're like, let me go back and double up. You try to take your glasses off. And then you take another out. That's delicious. And then you do another lap, you put your hat on backwards, and you're like, hey, how you doing? Change your voice, get another one. But you're not convinced you want to buy that box.
Right.
You want to buy that crate.
Right.
I feel like that is Brock Purdy. Last year, we were getting that sample size.
Right.
It's pretty good. Damn, this Brock is delicious. And then we went back a couple weeks later, like, man, this still tastes pretty good.
This is relevant now.
Yes. Now this is a thing. And then this season comes around. The off season happens. I know he is banged up and healing up.
Yeah.
But now we're all at that place. Well, we want to start investing our emotions into a quarterback, which is basically now we have to buy the product. Who out there is walking up to the register with that box of Brock Purdy?
Right.
I don't think we are because we're hesitant. Was it just a flash in the pan? Did he catch lightning in the bottle? Was he really that good? Or did he just have nothing to lose?
Right.
I feel like Brock might have it figured out. And it's more about Brock and Kyle Shanahan than it is about this guy's individual talent.
Right.
Loaded offensively. Debo do it all Samuel as his anchor. George Kittle will ball out this year. They just locked in Bosa on the contract.
Yep.
I think Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49ers, a player in the team we're not talking about enough.
Nate, so great talking football with you.
Man,
again.
it's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you repping that Maple
Of course.
Leaf. And if you like that, Kirk Cousins styles, if you like that, keep an eye out each and every week for Football Nation. Myself, Tim Micallef, and Nate Burleson.
That's right.